Let's take a look at Tuesday in the NBA. We've got 6 games on, a little bit lighter. Let's pay attention to the things that are important. Who do we stream in? How does the schedule play out? How do we take advantage of it, Michael Bolton?
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and the ill-gotten donut is forever on my head. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day, and thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network the number one sports podcast network in the world. The world? Yeah, we'll just say the world, but it is the number one, definitely in the States. And you guys are a huge part of that. We're pushing on to 100K here as well. So hitting the sub is a great idea to, no, not in that way, but hitting that subscribe button is a great way to get there. Double banging, listening to the audio as well is also really helpful for me. We are talking the games on Tuesday. We said we've got the 6 of those games on. So let's take a look. Let's see what stuff is cracking over there. We'll just talk about the games. That's where we'll start off with this because, like I said, we have the 6 games on, so one of the lighter days of the week. Thursday is lighter. The first one up, we've got Raptors and Nets. We've got Grizzlies, Knicks. We have got Warriors at Thunder, which will be an interesting game. Celtics, Sixers. Pacers, Jazz, which is a game. And Nuggets, Kings, which is also going to be definitely a game. And we'll see exactly how all that stuff is going to play out. Let's go through the games one by one now and take a look at the things that are important from an injury perspective and sort of storyline idea with these games. The first one is the Raptors and the Nets. Day'Ron Sharpe left the last game for the Nets with hamstring tightness. I would be very surprised if Day'Ron Sharpe suits up. So does that mean that Danny Wolf is able to be recalled from the G League and play those backup minutes? Don't know. Also, Jakob Poeltl sat the last game on a back-to-back, so he'll be fine. So I've marked him probable. I've got no worries about him playing in this game. The next game for Thursday, we go Memphis and the New York Knicks. There is some actual blowout potential here in this one. I have labeled Mitchell Robinson questionable because he actually has been now officially labeled questionable because it's the first of a back-to-back. Zach Edey is out, but his return is coming. I'll continue to say this. If Zach Edey is sitting on your waiver wire, he is a must-roster player, must-grab player. He is, he's not good enough to fix the Grizzlies' woes, but he will take on a sizable role, and I think he's going to be really good for fantasy this season. Brandon Clark remains out, and Javon Small missed the last game. Not that that matters a huge amount for most of us, as Cam Spencer has taken that role away from him, and then, of course, Pippen and Jerome are going to come back eventually and limit them again. The next game we go to is Golden State and Oklahoma City. And Steph, I had as probable, but he's in. He's playing. He's not on the injury report. But they did just add Al Horford onto the injury report. The big question is going to be the Thunder. We know the Bronco is out, but it is the first of a back-to-back for these guys. So does that mean that Chet Holmgren or Alex Caruso are at risk at sitting? I think so. Lou Dort has missed, I think, the last 3 games, and Aaron Wiggins has also been injured. So they're all questionable. So that is 4 rotation players. Obviously, if all these guys are out, or certain ones of these guys are out, the remaining guys step up. More for AJ Mitchell, more for Isaiah Hartenstein, more for perhaps Isaiah Joe. We're seeing this play out all the time. I think there was some misunderstanding. Maybe I was unclear about it. I haven't gone back and listened to it, actually. But when I talked about droppable players on the waiver wire show, I did have AJ Mitchell's name on there. And it's very, and obviously he came out and had a good game the next day, but it's very clear. Okay, let me try again. I don't know if it's very clear. I thought I was being clear about it. If someone's on the droppable list, you don't have to drop them. They're sitting there that if you need to think and make a longer-term decision, these guys I don't think will maintain the value. Not like you have to drop them right now and they're going to be bad. Because look at all of these guys that are currently out on the Thunder. And while AJ has been great, I do not see him any chance of maintaining this role when everyone is back. So for now, yeah, it's still there, and you can just keep rolling with it and keep rolling with it and keep rolling with it. But if you're looking at longer term grabs of guys, sometimes you have to make a move on a droppable guy that hurts in the short term to like, example, I'll put this out there. You guys react how you want. If Zach Edey is on my waiver wire, I will drop AJ Mitchell for him. Now, my team probably has somebody worse. Right? It might have Trent Watford or Noah Clowney or Jaeger Dielman or Josh Minor. It might have someone worse, right? But if it wasn't, and Mitchell was there, and when I look at the projections and I play the 240 game, if the team gets even somewhat healthy, and I need to make that move, I would do it, even though I know that I'm losing because Edey's not even playing and Mitchell's getting good minutes. But I do think there is an important part of that, is that not every move needs instant, not even gratification, but instant payoff. Instant, like, yeah, that was the right thing, because there is a lot of, I guess, nuance to that. And I thought that I'd describe that, but judging by some of the comments, I guess not. The next game, the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers. We expect that Joel Embiid plays. Paul George is out. Don Barlow, not really sure on. He's been dealing with that lacerated elbow. His return will be interesting to see. What does it do to a Dembona, Jabari Walker, Trent Watford? Does Barlow just start, or does Watford's play enable him to start? Don't know. Jonai Broom, also questionable. That doesn't really impact nearly anybody in any fantasy league. The next game, the second last game, it is Indiana at Utah. This is potential disaster stuff here. Like, this game could be horrid. Aaron Nesmith and Pascal Siakam both sat out the last game for the Pacers. Now, Siakam, I'm very certain, will be back due to rest. Nesmith, I'm pretty sure, will play. There'll be no John Furphy. There'll be no TJ McConnell, I believe. No Benedict Mathurin. What is also interesting for the Pacers is Jeremiah Robinson-Earl, who's playing like 30 minutes a night, his 10-day contract has expired. Well, it expires today on the 10th of November. In order for him to be available to play on the 11th of November, they need to sign him to a new 10-day contract. And at the time of me recording this, that has not happened. So I don't know if Jeremiah Robinson-Earl will be even available to play. Is he even eligible to play? Because they've got 2 10-day hardships guys. And with Nembhard back, does that limit what they can do there? So just again, keep an eye on that. Whether Robinson-Earl actually gets signed. Because currently, he cannot play. That's why I've got him questionable. The Jazz have listed Kyle Anderson as questionable and Taylor Hendricks as questionable, who's now fighting for backup minutes with Kyle Filipowski, because they're both coming off the bench for the change-ups that they made where they started Isaiah Collier in the last game, which was a little bit out of the blue. Actually, I probably should have put Isaiah Collier on here as well. He's coming back from the hamstring injury. No word that he's out on Monday, so maybe Collier doesn't play on the back-to-back, but we don't know that one yet. There is also an incredibly, incredibly late game. An 8 p.m. Pacific tip, which is 2 games after the last game of the day, which is the Indiana Pacers and Utah Jazz, 2 hours after, and it's the Nuggets and the Kings. We saw the Westbrook game, and Precious Achiuwa starting over him. I would, as much as I cannot believe what the Kings do, and I cannot believe the lack of Keon Ellis, and I cannot believe that, well, actually, I can believe that assembling all of those players together who had no way of fitting together has not fit. Like, that was very obvious at the time. Right, but the benching of Russell Westbrook for one game, playing 16 minutes in that game against the Wolves, I am not sure, especially considering Doug Christie has nothing else up his sleeve. It's like, you used to play these guys, why don't you do something? Like, that is the hallmark of a terrible coach, by the way, when they do that. So don't be surprised if Westbrook is back starting, 33 minutes, leading the team in usage for this game. Do not drop him yet. I do think that when Keegan Murray returns, he will very clearly be a bench player, very clearly. But that's not happening now, and I do not think the Precious Achiuwa sticks in that starting group. But, again, let's find out. Aaron Gordon and the headmaster Jamal Murray both missed the last game for the Nuggets. It was a back-to-back, and that's just, I think, a pretty easy scheduled sort of rest decision. They're both listed as probable here, so therefore they will both play. We're going to come back and talk more schedule things in a moment. Before we do that, today's episode, though, is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there is no better place to get in on that action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. But even if you miss the start of an NBA game, with FanDuel, you can get in there. You can check who's got the hot hand, and can you check on who's going to? Well, you can bet on who's going to score next, or if there's going to be comebacks or changes to the spread, and there's going to be narrowed down or blown out or whatever it is. You can do that and combine your live bets as well on FanDuel into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So go to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And don't forget to gamble responsibly. Today's episode is also brought to you by Mint Mobile. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it is time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. You can say yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for just $15 a month. Mint makes it simple. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can even bring your own phone and keep your same number and contacts. Are you ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch to mintmobile.com/lockedonnba. That is mintmobile.com/lockedonnba. Upfront payment of $45 required. That's equivalent to $15 a month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. Okay, we're here talking about the games on Tuesday for the NBA. So let's have a bit of a look in here to how we can, again, approach this schedule. Looking at the upcoming little bits and pieces of games and where ads can be more than just a single day sort of move. And we'll start by looking at back-to-backs. Now, there's only one team entering the game on Tuesday on a back-to-back. And we talked about this a lot on the weekly preview show, that the Jazz have this excellent schedule this week. And this is where it starts. The Jazz have that Monday, Tuesday, back-to-back. They're the only team. Watch for Markin, I think it'll be okay. Watch for Isaiah Collier and see where that goes. There are 7 teams, though. 7 teams that play Tuesday and then on to a 12-game Wednesday. Boston, Denver, Golden State, Memphis, the Knicks, the Thunder, and the Kings. So that is why we're worried about Caruso. We're worried about Holmgren. We are worried about Al Horford won't play both games, absolutely. Like, he's questionable on Tuesday. We don't know whether he plays. I don't think there's any worry in Memphis. I don't think we've got Mitchell Robinson for the Knicks, obviously. He won't play both games. I think the Kings are fine. Maybe watch Sabonis. I think the Celtics will be okay, although watch for Jaylen Brown's random hamstring, just in case. But that is a lot there. 7 teams going from Tuesday into Wednesday. And that enables maybe shenanigans on Wednesday, but just they can sit guys on the Tuesday as well. Very obviously they can do that. What about the next part of the chunky sort of stuff that we can look at? Well, normally if we're talking how do you get 2 games for one move, it's very easy, just hit a back-to-back. But when there's a 12-game Wednesday in the middle, you want to hit the Tuesday and the Thursday. You want to surround that. You want to double end it. As you can see, we have got a couple of teams that feature here. The Indiana Pacers and the Utah Jazz. There's a lot of Pacers guys there. Aaron Nesmith, Isaiah Jackson, and Jay Huff. For the Jazz, you do have Collier, although there is a risk he doesn't play on Tuesday. And you've got Filipowski. But if you're trying to hit the 2-for-1 ad across the Tuesday to Thursday, these guys are available in a lot of different spots. Now, Huff really went off last game without Siakam. That probably won't be the case here for him, but he still can cut into Isaiah Jackson's minutes. Jackson will still get his 20 to 21 minutes, it seems. Nesmith's going to get 30. He is the key guy to look at, and we'll talk a little bit more about him in detail later on, but there's value in what he's able to do. If we expand that out a little bit further, if we get a bit chunky for the next 5 days, Tuesday through to Saturday, we're excluding Wednesday, which teams have the best streaming value? And it is the Indiana Pacers. So while this week is a Jazz week, with their Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday schedule, that's great. After Monday, we get into a Pacers zone where they play the 3 quality games over 5 days. And there are options. There's Nesmith, there's Jackson, there's Huff, there's the national tile, Jarace Walker. Hello! All of these guys are options. Maybe it is Jeremiah Robinson Earl if he actually signs. Maybe it is. If you're in deeper leagues, you want to look at Monty Morris to see if he can get you 10 points along with 4 assists and 1 turnover, and then maybe he hits 1-3 as well. And then if you want to go to a team that doesn't have 3, maybe it's Terrence Mann, although if there's anyone who lets us down, it's we know that he will. But there is opportunity there. The Nets have the 2 games over that 5-day period, or the 2 quality games over that 5-day period. Let's just stretch it out a little bit further. What about the next 7 days? Tuesday through to next Monday. We don't like the fact that the Sixers have got a 2-game week, but is there anyone with a 5-game or 2-game period over the next 5 days? Well, I'm glad you asked. There is. The Washington Wizards, from Tuesday through to Monday, play twice. So, if you've got fringe Wizards, you're holding on to CJ McCollum, who's been better the last couple of games, but I doubt where it goes, like Chris Middleton. Maybe you include Bilal in that. You might not. I wouldn't include Keyshawn in that. But Bub Carrington, Trey Johnson, 2 games over the next 7 nights is clearly very low, and enables you to move off of those guys to add extra games. And if that's, especially if you're talking about fringe players on the Wizards, which we currently are. That can bring us now to talk about streams of the day. So who are the best streaming players at the where we currently sit for the action on Tuesday with the 6 games on. I do think that in Memphis, without Zach Edey there, that Jock Landale is worth a look. And there are, well, let's just bring up a little bit of detail here about what Jock has been doing. Over the last 7 days, Landale is averaging 27 minutes a night. When he first got the starting job, Jock was playing 24 minutes a night. But he's up to 27 now. He's playing well. He's hitting almost 2 threes a game. Part of the problem with Jock is that he doesn't get any blocks. He's blocked 0.3 shots in the last 7 days. Zach Edey eventually will stop any of this value that Jock is having. But he's also given you double-digit scoring in the last 6 games. They're not big ones. It's 13, 11, 12, 10, 13, but it's happening. And the role is there, and there's enough stream value for someone that's available in so many different spots that you can at least get something out of him now, and you can move on later on. You don't have to hold on. Obviously, Edey is going to hurt this eventually. But for now, what Jock Landale is doing is it's useful. It's useful enough. If you go to 12-team stream guys, Terrence Mann, again, it's always risky. It's always risky with Terrence Mann. 14 teams, we go to Yago who it's hard, man, with this guy. Sometimes he gets assists, and then he'll get a steal. Then he'll hit a couple of threes, and then he'll miss every three that he takes. So he's all over the shop. But the fact is that he's starting, and I expect him to keep starting for at least the short term, maybe long term. And hopefully we get some overall improvements. And a starting point guard is hard to find, even if he offers nothing in so many areas. But Yeoman's stat set and those assists, especially in a 14-teamer, is really useful. If you want to go deeper, amazingly, I'm going Nets again, because Ziaire Williams played 28 minutes in the last game. He's a points, threes, rebounds, steals sort of guy. And with Haywood Highsmith still out and the team terrible, and maybe Day'Ron Sharp's also missing here, you're going to get a solid enough production. He is available everywhere, Ziaire Williams. He's just not rostered in any league. So he is an option for you. If we want to talk points leagues, which we do, let's talk about Yahoo points, because we are adjusting the criteria. We were originally running at 40% on Yahoo to say under 40% is a guy to consider for most leagues or for 12-team leagues. We adjusted it down to 35. I checked again. Walker Kessler, 65% rostered. That is an embarrassing number. 65%. It's embarrassing. Yahoo, again, I believe they have done all of these sort of modes to inflate league numbers, participation numbers, especially participation in points leagues, and that's an indictable, not getting arrested, who cares? But it's the fact that Kessler announced a week ago to be out for the season, is rostered in 65% of leagues, suggests that there is a lot of dead leagues, which is frustrating, but it's good that we know. So I've brought the cutoff for Yahoo down to 30%. And Aaron Nesmith falls there. Now, it has been a rocky ride for Nesmith. But over the last week, he is averaging 1 fantasy point per minute. And he probably gets 32 to 33 minutes. And that's really good. The last 3 games is at 24 usage, and Andrew Nembhard has been back for 2 or 1 of those games. Will Andrew Nembhard help his efficiency? Someone out there to take some of the pressure off and set him up a little bit versus, Ray J. Dennis and Quentin Jackson. They've also got a really good schedule. So while you can stream in Aaron Nesmith for the game on Tuesday, we already highlighted how good the Pacers have this little period of time coming up, and his role is relatively secure. I'm expecting him to play, by the way, with the forearm issue. I don't think there's a concern there, but there is an opportunity for him to be useful for us here. For ESPN points, Yusuf Nurkic is 20% rostered. Now, his last time we saw him was terrible. I don't think there's any risk of him sitting the back-to-back, but I guess we can find out. But I do believe that he should be rostered in most leagues. And at 20% rostered on ESPN, it's sitting there for you to grab. And we know the Jazz have still got the really good schedule as well, which ties in to what we just said with Aaron Nesmith. We're going to come back with some more streaming options, but today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. And with the NBA season here, getting live to an arena to watch a game, it's peak, man. You get there, you see your team, you feel the energy, but getting tickets has been a headache in the past. You're waiting queues, you get surprise fees, you get prices that surge just before you go to check out as well. Game Time comes in to help you, giving you the advantage, enabling you to score amazing NBA tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. You can grab seats for any of your favorite teams, whatever's local. You might travel somewhere to go get these tickets, and their zone deals are a game changer. You've also got the ability to see the view directly from your seat as well, and the price that you see is the price that you pay. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. The code is LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Today's episode is also brought to you by Robinhood. Your ambition just met its match. With Robinhood, you play for the win, not just on game day, but every day, locking in on every opportunity, beating your PR, then beating it again. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto, all on one platform. You can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legends advanced tools, or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself, so expect more from your money. Get started today at robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that is robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. We're looking at Tuesday's games. We're talking streaming. We just did the streams of the day. So let's dig a little bit deeper into some of these stream lists. And if we always want to keep an eye on the news as to who might be in and who might be out and how that can adjust things. Let's go to a 10-team category league streaming list. We talked about Jock Landale. There is Terrence Mann. It's always risky. Noah Clowney was terrible the last time out. He was good the 2 games before. I am persisting with him in the short term. If they keep him starting and he can play those 30 minutes, I think there is enough there, but I also get it if you don't believe in it, fine. I also am skeptical of it, but I do like the overall skill set that has flashed at times. We've got another net there with Jaeger Yeoman, and then it is tough with Jarace Walker because he's terrible. He cannot shoot, he cannot finish at the rim, he cannot do anything, and even his assist numbers and defensive stats are down at the moment. But until we get Mathurin back, he's going to start. He'll probably play 30 minutes. And he'll probably be somewhat useful for us. Maybe. We hope. He's at least streamable, but there is significant damage that he can do. We know that. The 12-team streams, you just peruse that first list as well. Then you can come over here. Ziaire Williams is there. Now, I've got 2 guys on this list. Isaiah Collier and Alex Caruso. I don't know whether they play. Collier's on the second night of a back-to-back. Caruso's on the first. If they're available, good streams. But I don't know. Andre Drummond will be a backup to Joel Embiid because Embiid will return. But I think he's going to get those minutes over a Dembona. It seems like that writing is pretty clearly on the wall. And Drummond is putting up some back to his sort of stellar rebounding numbers. And then Jay Huff is there too, even though he won't be starting. In place of Pascal Siakam, he'll be there getting some of those minutes behind Isaiah Jackson. And with the way that Rick Carlisle uses those rotations, he could easily exceed Jackson in minutes. This is just what happens, and it's the eventualities that we need to be prepared for. For deeper leagues, for categories, we've got Cam Spencer, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, both in Memphis. You got Bruce Brown in Denver. You got big Jalen Williams in Oklahoma City, which would further elevate if Chet and Aaron Wiggins are out. And then in New York, Juice McBride is one of the names to look at. For Yahoo points streaming, we already talked that Aaron Nesmith has value. Terrence Mann, Jock Landale, Jarace Walker, and Noah Clowney. It's not the most exciting list of names, but every one of those players, I think, has the ability to give you 30 fantasy points. They might not, but there is the potential of that they give it. And in terms of streaming, that's a really good result. If you can get 23 in a standard league from a streaming guy and just continually rotate that through, you're going really well. That's solid value. And I think all of these guys have at least the 30-point upside to be able to deliver that to you. And lastly, ESPN points leagues. Who are the guys we talked about? Yusuf Nurkic already. Aaron Nesmith is there. Terrence Mann is available in a lot of spots over on ESPN. The Pastel Donata, Nemesh Keita, and then Josh Minot as well, who also, like Noah Clowney, was terrible in the last game. And I understand the desire to drop him. And I think that a lot of you will. And I think that's totally cool. But I do think there is streamable value there because I don't think there is any risk of him losing the starting job. The problem is he playing 28 minutes or is he playing 20? And there is always that up and down, which does make it, with Minot, it makes it risky to stream. It's more of a let's hold for a couple of weeks and see if we get an average out at 25 minutes. Because it might be 30 and it might be 18. But that is tough to do. But I'm still putting him on the list because I think it's worth talking about. And that is a look ahead for the games on Tuesday with 6 of them on a very, very late start with a huge gap towards the end of the day as well. We check on the injury statuses, we double bang over here, we subscribe, we listen to the audio side of it, and guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.